Imagine living your entire life bound in darkness. Not metaphorical darkness, but complete and utter blackness. You've never seen the sun. You've never seen a tree. You've never even seen your own hands. Everything you know about the world comes from flickering shadows dancing across a cold stone wall. To you, those shadows are reality. They are truth. They are all you've ever known. Now imagine someone drags you out, kicking, screaming, resisting, into a blinding, overwhelming light. You cover your eyes. You stumble, but slowly shapes emerge. You begin to see color, form, and depth. You see the world as it really is for the first time. This is the philosophical journey Plato invites us to take. A journey from illusion to truth, from blindness to insight, from ignorance to wisdom. And the map of this journey is drawn in three of the most powerful metaphors in all of philosophy: the allegory of the sun, the divided line, and the allegory of the cave. Each one reveals a different layer of what it means to know, to see, and ultimately, to be. Let's begin with the allegory of the sun, found in Book 6 of the Republic. Here, Plato, through the voice of Socrates, draws an analogy between the sun and the form of the good, which he claims is the ultimate source of all reality and knowledge. Just as the physical sun makes vision possible in the visible world, the good makes understanding possible in the intelligible world. Without the sun, our eyes cannot see. Without the good, our minds cannot comprehend. The sun is not sight itself, Plato says, but it is the cause of sight, and it is seen by sight. This elegant statement reflects a deeper truth. The highest knowledge doesn't come simply from observing, but from knowing the cause of what we observe. The good is not just one among many forms, it's the source of all forms and of the very being of things. So why the sun? Because it gives life, it gives clarity, it makes growth possible. And Plato's form of the good does the same, intellectually, morally, and metaphysically. In other words, to know the good is to understand the very foundation of reality. Next, Plato sharpens this insight with a second metaphor, the divided line, also in the Republic. Here, he presents a visual model of the levels of knowledge, a spectrum from ignorance to enlightenment. Picture a line divided into two major sections. 1. The visible realm, what we perceive with our senses. This is split into images and shadows, reflections, echoes, illusions. Belief, the physical world, what we think we know through sight and touch. But Plato warns us, just because something is physical doesn't mean it's true. This realm is constantly changing. It's deceptive, it's impermanent. 2. The intelligible realm, what we grasp with our reason, also divided in two, mathematical and logical thought, using reason but still based on assumptions. Dialectical understanding, pure knowledge of the forms, and ultimately the form of the good. The further you go up the line, the closer you get to the truth, from shadow to object to concept to essence. Each level requires not just more information, but a deeper form of thinking. This is not just a hierarchy of facts. It's a hierarchy of being, of what is more real and less real. For Plato, a perfect triangle in the world of forms is more real than any imperfect triangle we draw in the sand. That's the radical claim of the line. Ideas are more real than things. And now, we arrive at the most famous and perhaps the most haunting of Plato's metaphors, the allegory of the cave, presented in Book 7. This is not just a philosophical model. It's a drama. A psychological story of every person who has ever questioned the world around them. Inside the cave, prisoners are chained from birth, facing a wall. Behind them burns a fire. Between the fire and the prisoners are puppeteers, casting shadows on the wall. The prisoners see only these shadows and mistake them for reality. One day, a prisoner is freed. At first, he resists. The light hurts his eyes. He clings to what he knows, the shadows. But eventually, he turns. He walks out. He sees the world above. He sees trees, the sky, the stars, and finally, the sun. He realizes everything he thought was real was a lie. But the story doesn't end there. He returns to the cave, desperate to share what he has seen. And what happens? The others laugh. They call him mad. They threaten to kill him. This is Plato's warning. Most people would rather live comfortably in illusion than painfully in truth. It's a parable about education, about philosophy, about society. It is, in many ways, a timeless critique of the human condition. Now let's put the pieces together. What's the relationship between the sun, the line, and the cave? They're not separate metaphors. They're parts of a single philosophical system. The sun represents the ultimate truth, the form of the good that illuminates all knowledge. The divided line shows the structure of knowledge, from shadows to full understanding. The cave is the existential and social experience of moving from illusion to truth. The sun tells us what truth is. The line shows us how we ascend to truth. The cave shows us why it's so difficult and so necessary. And here's the most profound insight. Plato isn't just describing philosophy. He's describing your life. Have you ever questioned a belief you once held as sacred? Have you ever felt the discomfort of learning something that shattered your worldview? Have you ever tried to explain a hard-earned truth only to be dismissed, mocked, or ignored? If so, you've been in the cave. You've stepped onto the line. You've caught a glimpse of the sun. So now the question is simple and terrifying. Where are you in this journey? Are you still staring at shadows, content with illusions? Are you halfway up the line, wrestling with contradictions and doubt? Have you seen the sun, even for a moment, and felt the joy and pain of truth? Plato's triple allegory is not just ancient philosophy. It's a mirror, a challenge, an invitation to wake up. Because to live well is not to chase comfort, but to pursue truth with all the courage it demands. And once you've seen the light, you can never go back to the shadows.